Hey guys, it's Jacob. Today I'm going to be telling you guys about the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. But since they are sort of two separate stories told, I'm just going to be covering the Iliad today, which is the first part. Okay, so let's get right into it. All right, so Homer was a Greek epic poet, and he wrote, these stories of bravery, triumph. He wrote epic poems, and so he wrote these books and they became so widely popular that they became the standard and the scale that all Greek literature was measured up to. So after that background info, let's get right back into it. All right, so in the Iliad, it talks about Menelaus, um, and he is he is the king of Greece, Agamemnon's brother, and he has this wife, Helen, who is extremely beautiful. And obviously this was an arranged marriage, and she is significantly younger than him by decades, so it's obviously arranged. Anyway, and he will put Agamemnon's brother. Agamemnon. Okay, so anyway, then the Trojans are sort of celebrating with the Greeks, so we'll say Trojan and Greeks are celebrating. Okay. And then during this celebration, they're celebrating their new alliance and everything. And there's Prince Hector of Troy, who is a little older than his brother, Prince Paris. Oops, sorry, I'll rewrite that neater. And anyway, they're celebrating, and Paris is sort of like a ladies' man. He's younger, and Hector's married. Paris isn't. Hector's a very capable warrior. Well, okay, let me elaborate. In the movie, he's a capable warrior. In the book, not so much. Against Achilles, of course. But, anyway, so Hector is a better warrior. He is next in line for the crown of Troy. Mind you, the king is not celebrating with them. Paris is also with them, and they're just all celebrating. But anyway, Paris during this celebration has an affair with Helen, and if you remember, Helen is up here. Helen and Menelaus. Okay, so anyway, the next day they are sailing back. So I'll just draw a little diagram. It'll be Troy. And then this would be Greece, I guess. And then, yeah, this would be the Aegean Sea. Okay, and so they're about to sail from Greece back to Troy. But Helen actually ends up on Paris's ship. Okay, because he sneaks her back with him. And then, anyway. And so Hector finds out, and he is infuriated with Paris, and it sparks this war. And Agamemnon, the king, tells the troops and his brother, yes, we're going back for your wife, but he's really on a power trip, and he wants to conquer Troy. He's not there just for the wife. Anyway, so they get there, and the Greeks are having a very hard time breaching the walls. They take the beaches very easily. In the movie, of course, I'm not remembering exactly on the book what the beach counterpart is, or if that's even an element, but anyway, hard time with the walls, and Troy has these great archers, so hard time with the walls. And then anyway, he's having an extremely hard time with the walls of Troy. And he has sort of this trump card. He has Achilles. And Achilles is an extremely capable warrior whose mother was a goddess, and when she dunked him into the stream, she held him by his foot, and so this would be his body, and this would be his foot, and it would be exposed. So all of him would be immortal except for his foot. And anyway, so they're having an extremely hard time with the walls, and Menelaus is getting extremely frustrated, and I'm going to erase this to clear some space. But in the end, they come up with the strategy of the Trojan war horse, or the Trojan horse. And I'm sure you've heard of that, obviously. It's very iconic. Basically, okay, so if this is the Trojan walls, the Greeks will come up and then be routed by the walls. Okay, so it's pretty much continuing in this cycle, okay? Just to put that into a little perspective. Alright, anyway, so then they get this horse, and I can't draw, so I'm just gonna... There you go. Anyway, so this would be the war horse. And then the Greeks sort of, there'd be this cliff type thing in their ships, and the beach would be here that they attacked, and then these would be their ships. Okay, and they bring them around to this side of the cliff, and then the Trojans think that they're gone, and they celebrate. Okay, so anyway, their ships are hidden, and at night the Trojans pull the horse into their town, and so this horse is now to Troy. Alright, so then at night they sort of I guess escape. Well, not really escape. They jump out of this horse, and they have like a small amount of soldiers inside of Troy, inside of the wall, and then this would be the gate. Okay, and the bulk of the Greek army is out here, and then they open the gates. Okay, and then the rest of the Greek army comes in and ransacks Troy, and they burn it to the ground. Alright, there you go. Now let's elaborate a little bit more onto Achilles. So, Achilles is sort of like a super soldier, and he is slaughtering Trojans, but his cousin, Patroclus, wears his armor, wears Achilles' armor, so, I'll just abbreviate, wears A's armor, okay? And, Hector, the competent Prince of Troy, thinks that he is dueling Achilles because Patroclus has the helmet on, kills Patroclus thinking it's Achilles. Okay, and so Achilles is outraged and duels him, and Achilles kills Hector, and in the movie it's this, of course they Hollywood it up, and it's this elaborate fight to the nail, to the death and all, right down to the wire. But in the Iliad, the actual book, Achilles pretty much kills him within the first few clashes. So I'll just sort of draw that sword and then have like a clashing sword. Okay, there we go. So they are dueling Hector and Achilles. Hector falls and Achilles wins. And Achilles, will be his chariot. He ties, in the movie, he ties Hector's body to it, and then desecrates it by riding his body behind him, and his body's desecrated. But in the book, I'm not quite sure if the whole chariot scene happens, but I do know that he does desecrate the body. It's been quite a while since I've looked over the book, but anyway, you get the idea. Body is desecrated. Okay. So, let's review. Achilles. Kills Hector. Avenges Patroclus. King Menelaus dies when he duels with Paris, and Hector interferes and kills him. Dies. Well, I guess not really a king. Noble, and not noble the character trait, noble as in I'm a noble duchess, you know. Or a duke, I guess, you know, that kind of noble. Troy falls. Hector's body is desecrated. Okay, and that is our quick review.